Hey everyone, it's good to see y'all.
Dearly beloved.
It's me, SB. I miss y'all. I just gotta let y'all know that first and foremost, I miss you guys. I have been busy in my personal professional life, but it ain't nothing like coming on here and just talking to you guys and just sharing with you all. So I'm here tonight, but my schedule's still full. I'm not back to my regular shows, but I will be soon. But tonight, I am bringing to you guys, or we are bringing to you guys, Wife Life. So remember, guys, every Thursday night, look for Wife Life. If I have an opportunity, I will tell you exactly where to find it. Tonight it's on SB Nation. So we're going to have fun. We're going to deliver some information. We're going to answer some questions and whatever else y'all got for us, okay? But remember, Wife Life, every Thursday night, it's a group of women married that are telling those things that you always wanted to know, but were afraid to ask. Unsolicited. Y'all got it. Oh, my sign missing. So listen, before we get started, I would say hello to a group of people over here in this chat. Thank y'all for being here. But also I'm going to say hello to my co-host. Hello, Mr. Boss. Mr. Boss.
Dearly beloved.
Gave me a thumbs up. Does that mean y'all he going to work harder? No. I keep saying that. I'm just hoping. I'm hoping I get more out of him by introducing him. But I think, y'all, when I used to not introduce him, I think he used to work a little bit harder, y'all. I do. But we ain't going to stop. We're going to keep it going. But anyway, again, I am not back solid yet, but soon I will be back on my regular schedule. And y'all know this. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give y'all the insight, okay? SB is coming back with something real, okay? It's going to be big, y'all. Well, I think it's big. I hope y'all think it's big too, but I want all y'all to be a part of it. But I'll let you know. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. But anyway, Stephen Day, hey, how you doing? It's good to see you. Real Fam, hello. Thank you for being here. Big Cap, congratulations again on your anniversary. Guys, listen, I say congratulations to Big Cap because he's a young man that just appreciates his wife and loves being married in 2022. Fat Nurse Fancy, she's also, I am enjoying this because Nurse Fancy just recently got married also.
Dearly beloved.
Enjoying her new man in 2022. So I'm just giving thumbs up to you all. Cloud Nation, hello, how are you? It's good to see you. Dr. Steele, what's going on with you? I'm glad to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, did I miss somebody? I know I did. Sade, I saw you earlier. Where are you at now? But anyway, thank you for being here. And I got something for you, but we're going to hold on to that just a second. T. Shaw, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Who else? Sade. Sade, you have definitely blessed the show. You got trying to get it all started off right with a pair character rolling on the floor laughing. It is too cute. But guess what, Sade? With the $9.99 and up, you get the money line. Give me mine. Going up, need no decline. Money line. I'ma run it every time. Give me mine. Going up, need no decline. Yeah. So thank you, Sade, for getting this thing started off right. For those of you all that didn't know, first time here at SB Nation, when the supporters give over $9.99, you get the money line song. But we read all super chats. We read them all. But $9.99 gets you the money line. And guess what, guys? The money line is very helpful because sometimes it get hot over here. I can't even talk. The money line come through and it just makes everyone smile and it makes for a good day. So thank you guys for paying attention, Thank you so much. Let's see. Who is this? Amosphere Zone. Martine. Guess what, guys? It's time. I think it's time. Liz. Okay, listen, we got one more super chat before we get started. Then guess what, guys? I'm going to bring up my co-host for tonight. And we're going to get this thing started because we're going to be guarding against temptation. Do y'all know about that?
Oh.
We're going to be guarding against temptation. So guess what? We got Rebecca with us, Family Value, Miss Jasmine, and Martine. So guess what, guys? Before we get started, we got a super chat that we need to read. They just want us to do the money line. They just want to see us dance, guys. Y'all ready for them? Show them how wives do it. Hold on, let me find it again. Drop it low. It went away. It says here, the topic is going to be interesting. Wife life. Liz, thank you so much. You get the money line. Come on, ladies. Come on, pregnant mama. There you go. Show us how you do it. There you go. There you go. Yay. Absolutely. Okay. All right, guys. So we're here. So listen, this is what we're going to do for tonight. We're going to make this a very interactive show because we've all been married some time. We've all been through some things, and we probably would all, like Miss Fame Value says, be saying the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the lines really early, because if we have someone in the chat that wants to share or wants to ask some questions pertaining to guarding against temptations, what to do, how to notice it, where to go, where not to go, all these things, all these questions that are asked, we want to be able to help out in some way. Now, remember, I'm not a counselor. Rebecca's not a counselor. Family Values is not a counselor. Liz, you're not a counselor. So we are giving advice straight from the fact that we live this life. So we will be helping each other. So understand that. We're helping each other. But listen, I'm going to talk to you guys for a little bit. Then we're going to get right into it. And then I'm going to let each one of these ladies introduce themselves. If you would like to do that again and say a little bit and on with the show. When I see this topic, guys, I automatically think of the movie Temptation. I don't know if y'all know about it, but it was made by Tyler Perry. It was the most interesting movie ever because it just makes it so real. Because if y'all remember the characters, Judith was a young lady who had went to school, got her degree, her career in being a marriage counselor. There they go. Look at that. Don't they just make you sick? And then you have Bryce, her husband, who had also gone to school. He got his degree and he was a pharmacist, but his dream was to be an entrepreneur. He wanted his own business. Did y'all hear this story? Did y'all hear what I'm saying? Is this not somebody's life? Oh my God. Whew. And then let's go back to Judith and Harley for a minute. Judith and Harley were virgins when they got married. They had known each other for over 19 years and married 6. Come on, y'all. It was like, da, 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 da. I mean, excellent. And then comes along the high value man. Should we even give him a name? Does he deserve a name? He don't deserve a name, do he? They called him Harley. But anyway, if y'all have not seen this movie, I need y'all to go back and take a look at this movie. This is such a real movie to me. It is just so real. The experiences that Judith goes through, the things that Bryce went through, and of course, Harley, the high value man that just gets everything he wants because he has a lot of money. All right. So that's what we're talking on today. And I'm going to throw it over to Miss Rebecca. Miss Rebecca, before we get into this, what you got to say about this?
This is going to be an interesting topic. I'm just saying, we're going to get spicy up in here. Okay. We're going to talk sex.
Yes.
Dearly beloved,
we're not even going to talk sex. We're going to talk about that stuff that leads up to sex, which is much better than sex.
Yep.
All right. Martine, what you got to add to this? I can't hear you.
I'm going to say ditto. Because that is, like we take for granted, like all of these things that lead up to sex and like intimacy. And it's stuff, like after like almost 15 years, I've been married almost 15 years. It actually gets to be more and more exciting, but we have to choose it. We have to like choose it every single day. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Absolutely. You're right. All right. Family Values. What you got to add today?
Man, that movie, that's one of those movies that really make you think and really make you reevaluate a lot of things and a lot of things that you've allowed in your life and didn't realize how you were right there walking the line of temptation. And I think this conversation is very well needed for marriages, because a lot of us think that it's okay to do certain things because it seems just so, it's innocent, even though
so innocent.
Yeah. And it could lead to other things. And that's why we got to have this conversation. We got to teach and give our wisdom.
Got to have it. All right. Before we get started, though, we have a super chat here from Black Men Unfiltered. And he says, Thank you, Black Man, for the $10 super chat. He says, "Welcome to SB Church, where the knowledge is free, but the super chats and the cash apps go to SB." DJ, run the beat. Give me mine. Going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine. Going up, need no decline. Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna get this thing started. My first question, and y'all can answer any kind of way you want, and I'm not gonna call your name, whoever wants to answer. But I want somebody, we're gonna form this so we can walk away and everybody be in the same mind frame. So temptation. Can you all give me, or any one of you want to give me a definition for temptation? Any one of you? You talking, but you're back. Go ahead. All right. So ain't nobody gonna give me one. So temptation, anything that influences you to do something against your marriage. Because we're talking about, we're wife life. So we're married. So it's anything. It doesn't have to be sex, guys. It could be anything, because you know how often we hear about, oh, I had an emotional affair.
Connection.
Yeah, emotional connection.
So we're not talking about actual intercourse. We can, but we don't even have to go that far, because women can get real deep with their emotions and their thoughts and their all of that. So we're talking about temptation being any influence that takes you away from your marriage, or makes you think of doing something against your marriage. Anything. All right. Can someone name one thing for me? I don't have anything in mind per se. Oh, of course I do. But go ahead, Martine.
Oh yeah. And this can seem really innocent, like what Jazz was saying earlier, but when you're liking pictures of other men who aren't your husband.
Okay, she's coming in. She's coming in.
You come in.
Yeah. Yeah. Like celebrities that you find hot, and you like their photos, and you think it's like an innocent thing because, oh, like I saw him in a movie. Oh, he's a great dad. That's a huge one. He's a great dad. And then he's hot. But subconsciously, there's something that you are not admitting about that you are not consciously aware of, that could be harmful to your own relationship and intimacy with your husband. And I speak from experience.
Wow. Tell it. So listen, I got one for you though. So now that we've put a light on that, and that's a real thing, because actually what they're saying is that your eyes are wandering. You saw the man that you couldn't get a hold of, the movie star on TV, more than likely. So it made it very minute, a non-factor. But what about, since you're wondering now and you're looking, what about the man that's in the mall that walked right by you that smell good? What about him? Now we got to be honest. Listen, guys, those of you that are in the chat, understand, or in the live right now, we're being honest. We're going to be real honest about it. I love a man that smells good. A man that walks by me that smells good. I am.
Where is that? Where's it coming from?
Ooh, I'm like, ooh, something about here smells good. I do that. Beloved. I do. Now, if I were to look back and it's attached to a man, I try to just disconnect and keep going, but it's a real thing for me. A man that smells good gets my attention. I hate it, but it's real. So what is that? I have to come home and tell my husband, hey, look, I smelled something today. It smelled real good. We're gonna have to find some of that cologne for you. We're gonna have to look for it.
That's right.
I do it. I'm serious, because a man that smells good is a winner.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's a winner.
My man smells awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're on the surface. So family values, want to take us a little deeper?
Yeah. A lot of people probably won't like this, but I don't believe wives should have male friends.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say.
I think that opens the door to temptation, because out of friendship, there are private conversations. And I don't think anything should be private between you and another man, except for you and your man. So I think, that could lead to temptations, that could lead to that man even like taking advantage of the fact that he's getting your emotions. He's getting what you should be giving to your husband for free. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? He gets to
Mhm.
get that emotional stimulation from you and nurturing spirit from you. And I'm not saying that you gotta, treat all men like, but there should be a definite boundary and line when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Rebecca.
Boundaries.
Rebecca, take us
Bound
a little bit deeper.
oh, boundaries are so important um in marriage, right? You hit it right on the head, family values, like knowing that boundary and not crossing that boundary is so important for your marriage to be sustainable. I think once you start inviting keeping that little door cracked, right? Oh, he's just a friend. It's so innocent. He's just a friend. He's just a colleague, right? Because a
Yeah.
lot of us are going to work. A lot of you have to work with other people. You work with men, you work with women, right? He's just a coworker. We're just getting drinks. We're just going out. Oh, we have to go on a work trip.
A
Okay,
work
work
trip.
trip.
Ooh.
Work trips.
That's why we don't
Work
want women to
trips.
work out there in the public because the work
Yes.
trips. So listen, we've all given a little bit on what we think or given an example of how temptation can creep in our marriages. But I'm gonna go back to Miss Judith because y'all remember Miss Judith was a virgin and she hadn't entertained any other man at all. But one thing about Judith and Bryce's relationship, and this is what we got to guard against. Now we're going to guard against it. Is there was a lack of communication. There was a lack of communication, and there was a lot of taking each other for granted. He took her straight for granted. He was a good man, y'all, but he could care less about what Judith was doing. It wasn't intentional. He just his marriage, a 19-year relationship was with Judith was just coasting through. I often say stuff like, what did I say? Gosh, I forgot. Autopilot. They were on autopilot. They were on autopilot. And as soon as a man showed her something that her husband did not show her, there it is. There it was. So
Mhm.
we got to make sure that we don't take each other for granted. Can we give some examples? Some them subtle examples. Because see, we all recognize that big stuff. We're talking about those subtle examples of taking each other for granted. Because I always recommend everybody stay dialed in, guys. Be into your husband every single day. And I know that sounds extreme, but you got to do it. You got to check in. You got to have some form of communication. So, what would you all say about that? The taking for granted.
Mm.
Well, I just want to say something that I find really important is continuing to date your spouse. I feel like so many people, like you said, are just coasting, are in autopilot mode. They forget to date each other, and that's the spiciness. That's what people like from that relationship. Oh, he's listening to me. Oh, this person is investing their time and energy into what I'm saying, right? And as a woman, that's one of our biggest, that's our a lot of us, that's our love language. Like, okay, like he's
Attention.
present, he's communicating with me, right? And so as married couples, we have to continue to be purposeful, to date each other, to keep it sexy, to keep it funky. Like that's what
Yes.
my my mother-in-law actually said that to me. She's like, you gotta keep it funky, you gotta keep it sexy, okay? You
Mm.
can't be, a lot of us too, you get married and you just let yourself go and you don't look like you used to look, and you just, you continue. It's like, ah, it's fine, I'm married. He's gonna love me no matter what. No, we have to maintain ourselves like through everything. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of you because listen, I've been there. I've gained the pregnancy weight. Working on getting it off, right? But at the same time, like if we're not mindful of these things, that can open the door. We're not even talking about the temptation for men. We're talking about temptation for women so far, right? It opens the door. It opens the door. So continue that playfulness, that lightness in relationship, in your marriage is so important to the longevity of your marriage. Because if not, some cute can walk right by and you'd be like, oh, she looking better than my wife.
We'll walk right by. It's a guarantee that it'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
We see it every day.
Absolutely.
We can't pretend. That's what I'm saying, Rebecca. Don't pretend. Something cute will walk right by, and it might have a nice proportioned booty, and you looking up like you tired. Come on, we
Yeah.
can't. You gotta stay. You gotta stay engaged. You gotta stay spruce. I mean, all of this is real. I know, ladies. I mean, I've been married. We'll be 27 years in 2 months. Yeah. So you can't let go. Not if you want your marriage to be good and successful. If you want,
Exactly.
yeah, you can't. You gotta do it. You gotta do that little extra. You gotta ask questions. You gotta communicate. Martine, what do you think about that?
Yeah, like what you said, SB, about like letting go. When we let go of ourselves, we also let go of that dynamic, that pursue and being pursued dynamic in the marriage. And I kind of like say this from like a psychology point of view, just because I work with women to help them do this, right? And what I find is when women get into like that like 7-year itch, let's call it, in
Mm.
marriage, and we think like, oh, I've got him, we have a kid, there's like nothing that he can do to opt out of this. But the thing is when we get into that mindset, we've actually let go of the fact that God designed men and women a certain way, women to be pursued and men to pursue, and that doesn't end with a ring at all.
Mm.
So, like, when I know some women get offended when they see other women like working out, like, why are you working out? I'm like, because I want to be sexy for my husband. Why should you be sexy for your husband? Because he keeps pursuing me when I'm hot, right? And other women don't get this. They're like, oh, it's so offensive. He should like accept you for who you are. But when you turn that around, would you say that about your husband too? Like, if he wasn't improving himself, bringing more to the table as you grow in your marriage, wouldn't you as a woman also like require that of him, bettering himself, like growing in the marriage, growing in his career? So I think women forget that they are so entitled, and then they let themselves go, but at the same time they're also letting go of that dynamic in their marriage, and in effect like letting the marriage go as well.
Absolutely, they letting it go because you
Hmm.
must not be planning on spending the rest of your life with them. Because if you're gonna be that nonchalant about your marriage to the point you saying, why bother? Why bother to look your best? It's for you
Hmm.
too. I
It
mean,
is.
of course, we need to be attractive to our husbands, but wow, but you know what? That's a real thing because I was speaking to another young woman who was a younger woman, and in her younger days, she said she used to say to her girlfriends a lot, "Why are you doing a married friend?" She was a single woman, and she was talking to her married girlfriend, and she would the married girlfriend would say stuff like, I need to talk to my husband, I need to call him and check in, and things of that nature, and she would say, "Why? Why are you doing that? Why would you bother? I bet he don't check in with you." And that's just one of those things. That's an influence. Remember, temptation is any influence. Now she had the choice to say, well, I tell you what, I'm gonna call my husband, check in, or I'm gonna go with you. That was a choice. That woman was
Yeah.
tempting her. And do you know how often we don't see that? Especially if we went at one of them shopping trips. Y'all know if we at one of them shopping trips, we don't even pay attention to who's calling. It's like, what? In a minute. So, go ahead, family values. What did you have to add to that? You don't have to change. You continue on what we were talking about.
Okay, but I like what you said because women can very well plant those seeds in your head and
True.
cause temptation,
We'll
cause
go as soon as you're done. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, and cause you to think that it's dumb for you to check in with your husband. Those are influence as well that you need to keep an eye on. And friends like that you don't need around. I wouldn't keep a person like that around if I were you. It's not wise too. But as far as what Martine said about someone asking you why you're looking good for your man, I've had similar situations where I'm at the gym pregnant with my husband, and thankfully I didn't hear it, but my husband overheard the two young ladies. They probably were no more than 18 to 24 years old saying, "Oh, I feel sorry for her." you know, like as if he's forcing me to be here and there's something wrong with me exercising while I'm pregnant. And it's sad because that's what society is today. What these girls are thinking, that why would you do anything for a man? They should be at your becking call for everything. They should be at your feet. And that we got to make sure we don't keep that mentality. But like Martine said, she didn't quite use these words, but we do need to compete. I made a video about this recently. We have to continue to compete for our husbands. There's nothing wrong with continuing to understand that, one, we're getting older, one, we're the same woman that he's dedicated his life to. So you got to keep it hot. You got to keep it sexy and fun. And this is a form of competing. You got to keep his eyes on you. And a lot of women get mad at that, like, oh, we're married, he should keep his eyes on me either way. We can't. Temptation is everywhere. Women are half dressed everywhere. You can't go to the grocery store without seeing half dressed women. So you got to have something that your husband is excited to come home to. But as far as that movie, and her feeling like she wasn't getting enough attention from her husband and things like that, instead of falling into temptation and being excited when you get that attention elsewhere, especially considering that she was a God-fearing woman, these are certain things that you need to pray about. If you feel neglected by your husband, you need to take that to his authority, so we can get this fixed. And then maybe even talk to your husband about it. But to go and, you know, entertain something because it feels good and something that I'm not getting from my husband, as soon as you feel good from that, you should be like, oh shoot, let me stop this now. I need to talk to my husband about this. I need to talk to God about this. You know what I'm saying?
She did that, but you got to remember something. When she did that, she was up in the air, over 3,000? How many feet up in the air?
It was already too late.
It was too late. No, listen, it was too late. She said no for about 30 seconds, and then it was just too late. But listen, though, that young lady, this is such a real thing because her covering was gone, if I can say that. And I don't know if y'all probably haven't watched the movie in a while, but her covering was gone. And that's what we have to be careful with. Because if y'all remember that the dinner table scene, there was a scene where the husband said, oh, I told your mom we rest on Sundays. We no longer go to church. So going to the elders or going to someone, talking to them or seeking counseling about how I'm feeling, she would have never did it because she wasn't even thinking about how I'm feeling. And then there was another opportunity when she came in and she wanted to be all aggressive and have sex with her husband. He was like, what is wrong with you? Eat this sandwich and then we're going to go in this bedroom and have sex like we normal people. So he missed it completely. And then the fact that them just communicating, it just never happened. So, but that's how sneaky and tricky it is, because it subtly went away. Everything that was in place, their foundation was cracked just like that. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like it just eased its way in there with just a little bit of attention. And her husband was a great man. He probably didn't have no idea what was going on because his wife was so norm. Everything was normal. So we have to guard, guys, away from the norm. If that makes sense, we can't get into auto mode because the norm will trick you. And we can't pretend as women. I do know, as most of us Christian women are followers of Christ or, our creator, we kind of act like sometimes that we can't be subject to the things of the world. Men now are manscaping. They coming with these big old bodies with no hair on them and just walking, they're not hiding things anymore. So why are we pretending? And I'm not saying we are, but y'all know, we have the, most people would describe of us as being very shrewd and thinking we're better than most. But we got to let every woman know that, oh dear, you can fall into this. You can fall into it. If you looked at them twice, you just fell. You did. So we have to be careful about that. So one thing about it is this. Okay, birthdays are nothing. And that's a nothing thing. Nobody has to do that. But it all depends on how you feel about a birthday. How did it move you? In the movie, the young man forgot about a birthday 2 years in a row. There wasn't a 2 year. He did. Family Vegas, he did.
It's been a
So
long time since I've seen that movie.
yeah, I know. I had to brush up on it though. I was like, oh. So my point I'm trying to make is, guys, let's don't forget to have these conversations, because Rebecca said it earlier that one of our love languages is attention. I mean, I think all women are. Well, she didn't say it quite like that, but
Yeah,
we
I know.
love that reassuring. We love that attention. We love our men to pay attention. We like our men to be engaged. If they're not engaged, or we are just going through the motions, we'll fall into this. So the link is in the comment section. If anyone has a story or something they want to share, because I'm gonna ask you guys if y'all have anything that you want to share from the past or whatever. Y'all all married now, we know that, or anything that you might struggle with. I want you all to. We're gonna go into it. But anybody that wants to have questions or that wants to call in or just put your question in the chat will be fine. But we want to know. We want to get into it. We want to be able to help somebody that has gone through something that maybe they need help with, honestly, things that are going on in their mind that they're not being honest with. Let me just be honest with y'all. Someone told me something they had a question with, or shocked me actually, because nowadays things are really turning on us. And just in case y'all didn't know, but women are having more problems with women now. Just like Jasmine said, women are walking around here half naked, and women are watching women, are looking at women, or being I don't know the word I want to say. Is it vaccinated, or I don't know, intrigued? I don't know what it is. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for, guys?
Infected.
It's making you think like, what the, or whatever, but women are, I've been hearing women talk about women, the women kind of being, yeah, what's the word when you want to not necessarily try something, but you're like, it's making you think. I wonder
Influence.
if definitely an influence, but it's like a what if,
Mm-hmm.
a what if, because there's so much of it going. There's so much many bodies and all this stuff walking around, because women are not, they're not being modest. They're totally opposite of what we're here for, or what we're supposed to be here for, being modest and being wives. So what do y'all think about that? Because that's a major influence. Enticed. I like that. Quita, I love that. Enticed.
I will say that just the the women that we see every single day, right? We're seeing these women, like you said, half naked, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is something that my husband and I got into this. It wasn't even an argument, it was a discussion,
Very
right?
good.
Because we went to the beach, right? And I mean, I'm Brazilian, okay? So Brazilian bikinis have been around since before I was born, okay? But now it is it's the trendy thing to basically wear a thong at the beach. Like like legitimate children, like teenagers are wearing thongs at the beach. It is just it's quite disturbing, okay? So I looked at my husband. I was like, babe, I think I'm going to get one of those bikinis. Because I was like, I want to be sexy for you, blah, blah. He's like, I don't want your butt available for everyone else to look at. That's my butt. Okay. He said the other word. That's my butt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, and it's not that he's saying that's my body. That's like, I own you, but it's almost like he's protecting me from myself and from what I'm putting out there, because let's be
Absolutely.
real.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real, ladies. The thirst traps you're posting, that's the little bait. That's a bait. You're like, I'm going to test the waters. I'm going to test if I can get a man to DM me, to like my photos, to like my whatever. And then you check it out and you're like, "Oh, I got it." And that's a dopamine hit. So you don't have to necessarily talk to that person, right? But you're getting that affirmation that you're not getting from your house, right? Possibly. But I remember that so distinctly, and he was like, and now we barely go to the beach, but I wear full butt under or full butt bikinis. And modesty is so important. Like women are out here like just showing everything, leaving it just, it's not even up to the imagination anymore. Like it's so important these days, and it's almost kind of cultural to be more modest, to cover up, to, not show yourself in that way. And I think I I think that there's a lot of value in it, and it shows men, if you're not married yet, it shows men the type of woman that you are. You're not posting thirst traps, you're not doing all this extra stuff on social media. And if you're not married, okay, that's a good woman. She doesn't she doesn't devalue herself. She doesn't look to the world for that value, right? She's not lessening her currency. That's a good woman, right?
Very, yeah.
Those are indicators of good women. I'm not saying it's all of it, but like, come on, right? If you're posting your butt half naked on the internet, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign for anyone, That's
You
just
you are so right, because why would you have all your bottom out? And a thong? I mean, that's almost, you probably shouldn't have on anything. I mean,
right.
besides, it would be very uncomfortable, but hey, like you said, a more modest woman or a woman that you would want to marry, or a married woman, should have on a full bathing suit and probably a cover up also until she gets in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not trying to give yourself away to anybody, and you don't want somebody sitting there thinking and fantasizing about being with you.
Exactly.
That's the problem. See, that's the temptation of it. So you're putting it, yeah, that's the temptation of somebody sitting there looking at you with no intentions, but this is where they are. But I got a question though, ladies. Do you talk to your husbands about this? Is this
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. Like just the other day, like choosing a dress, right? So like I was gonna wear something to an event that the two of us were going to. And the first thing that I tried on was like one of those corset tops, which can look really elegant, like if you have a jacket or something. And I was planning to have a jacket. But then I asked my husband, well, what do you think? And normally, like it's like, oh, that's great, great selection. But this one, he's like, that looks like underwear. And because now the corset tops, you like can wear them out, right? If you wanted to. But to him, like he specifically said, that looks like lingerie, that looks like underwear. I don't want you wearing that. And for some women, that would be like, oh, like how
That's a
dare
trigger.
you? It's my outfit. Like, but then without understanding that if that's your husband, right, and you're in a marriage, his word is gold when it comes to your body. So I changed. I didn't take offense at all. I don't. Honestly, I don't. Right. So like I changed into something that was, like feminine and elegant, but didn't look to him like underwear. Because like if it looks like lingerie to him, it's gonna look like lingerie to other men. Because he's a man.
Preach.
Right. So it's like it doesn't matter like what you think. Like a lot of ladies think, no, it's what I think. It's like, women are wearing this now. And it's not even like a hugely like immodest corset top, right? But to a man, like to a woman, it's like, okay, it looks like it's like hugging me here and like squeezing me there. But to a man, that's not what it looks like at all.
right.
So can you imagine what a thong will look like
No.
to a
See, that's the
full-blooded
point.
man, right?
No, I don't want to imagine. I don't want the visual.
Exactly. I don't want to see it. I don't want to even have a visual of that.
No.
So yeah.
So a little bit ago, Family Values led us to a good place, and she's talked about women and how they can influence each other. And like you just said, the corsets, we're influenced by things we see on Instagram. They look nice sometimes. Like, you know what? I like to have a corset top underneath my suit, my business suit.
Underneath.
Yeah, and
underneath.
And it makes my waist, pulled in and my boobs up a little higher. I mean, within taste, we get that, and that has just influenced us to do it. It's real. You see how simple that was, and as long as it's kept pleasant and in order, we wouldn't have a problem with it. But it could be such a slippery slope. So one of the things that I always say, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record, is that I'm gonna ask the question. How do you all feel about the influence from single friends?
It's a
Have a
big
lot
it's a
of them
big no.
anymore.
I definitely don't agree that married women should even have single friends, and if you do, it should be from a distance, not very close. They shouldn't be too close. And it's not to say single women, there's something wrong with single women. We just have different mentalities. I believe Security Boss brushed up on this before, that we just have different mentalities. We're wives and mothers, and our priorities are much different than a single woman's priorities, especially when you go out with them. They're looking to attract men.
Mm-hmm.
So you being with her, it means that birds of a feather flock together. There's going to be men that thinks you're available to because she's available, and then those men are going to come around, and then now you're going to be dodging men because she's entertaining them, and you're there. So, and a lot of people say my single friends don't do that, but at the end of the day, they still have an influence on the way that you think. They question you because they just don't understand your dynamic. And I just don't think it's healthy for for I'm about to say mothers, for wives to hang out with single women. It's not wise.
So let me
But
add this before y'all go on with that. You remember, y'all don't might not remember, but in the movie, Judith's single girlfriend was Kim Kardashian. Remember? Y'all don't remember, but in the
I
movie,
don't.
her single girlfriend was
I
Kim
have to
Kardashian.
go watch this movie. I haven't watched this movie.
And she was telling her how bummy she looked and like an old woman. So she wanted her in a tight dress with the hair fixed up. And one day Judith was like, okay, I'll just let you do whatever you do. So she gave in to the single girlfriend and she made her beautiful, but it changed this woman completely. And y'all, she looked beautiful, but it changed her mental completely. If y'all could go, yeah, from that to that at the bottom, well, you might not be able to see the difference here. But anyway, her single girlfriend was Kim Kardashian. I just thought I'd throw that in there. And going back to what Family Values said, the mindset of a single woman is totally, I should say that different. The mindset of a married woman is totally different than one of a single woman. Totally different. We think about our husband, our family, our responsibility. They think about what? Self.
Getting the booty.
Self. They're thinking about self, pleasure, self, everything. Everything is about them. They think about nothing else but them. They don't think about you. They don't think about, you coming in the door at 2 o'clock in the morning, what your husband gonna think. They just want you to have fun with them, or you to go to the mail review with them and be tempted by the man when they do all the little things in your face and things of that nature. That's what they want. They want the girlfriend that you were before you got married. And they don't respect. Well, let me ask y'all a question again. I'm not going to put my thoughts onto you. Do you think single girlfriends respect marriage?
Not all of
Not
them.
all of
No.
them, yeah.
No.
Hmm.
And
I
I'm
mean,
even gonna say too, this sounds really bad. This is gonna sound really bad, and it's probably gonna hurt a lot of people, a lot of women out there. The divorced women too.
Hmm.
Okay.
I've met
Why?
married women like that too, but go on.
Projection. Projection. I've had conversations with my divorced friends, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's one of the things that got me divorced, or that's something that led me to start that argument with my ex-husband." I go, "I didn't ask for your opinion. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't ask for you to comment on what I'm doing." The whole, talking to my husband, why do you need to do that? Why do you need to do that? I didn't have to do that. Okay, well, the outcome is a little bit different, huh? So I tell them and I say respectfully, I don't want your outcome.
Wow.
Respectfully, I don't want your outcome. I want to be
Hmm.
married. I want to stay married. I like whatever you did, that's on you. That's perfectly fine, but don't try to put your little 2 cents onto what I'm doing. And I have to be very specific, because I have I have girlfriends from childhood. We grew up together. However, I'm not sharing things about my relationship, right? I'm not sharing to them, oh, okay, yeah, like, oh, what does your husband do? Like, what is your husband doing? How are you handling your finances? Chill, sis.
For
This is
wow.
it's like they think marriage is like high school conversations, but talking about stuff in marriage.
Yeah,
It's like, no, like you're not entitled to that. That's between me and him.
yeah. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
how do you split up your finances if you're stay at home or you don't work?
What?
Mind your business.
There is no split.
I was like,
Not
this, right?
goodness.
I
That's
was like,
perfect
listen,
soundbite.
don't
Ooh,
worry
boy.
about it.
So listen, guys, when you're coming into live, make sure you give us a thumbs up. And we're talking today about how to guard against temptation. Wow. I didn't know girlfriends get that deep. I can't imagine that. I have been like,
Some get mean. Some get really mean. And then
Yes.
they're not even married or they haven't been married. And then they say they want to get married. And then they have all of this, they project all of this vitriol onto your marriage. And a part of me always thinks, are they jealous? Are they like not saying what they really want? And so it's easier to get angry at a married woman? Like, sometimes that's the thought pattern sometimes.
Misery needs company. They want your company. Your
Yeah, they
husband
do.
took you away from them, so
Yep.
they want you back so y'all can go clubbing and have girls' night.
Oh yeah.
so
And
listen,
they
I'm-
remind you of it. They're like, oh, you used to be fun. You used to be all of this other stuff. You used to dance with me all the time. Used to being the key word there,
Used
honey.
to.
You've
Exactly.
changed. You're so different
Oh
now
yeah.
that you met
Yeah,
him.
that's
yeah.
the favorite one. You've changed. Like you got old. It's like you got older.
Thank
I was like,
God.
girl,
You got older. So wait,
okay.
let me do two things. The first thing is I'm gonna add this. When my husband and I got married, that was one thing my sister said to me was that, and to my husband too, is that he ruined everything. She said to him, "You ruined everything." So let me read this. Clement Grace says, SB is not just the single friends, but the unmarried aunties and mothers and sisters. Thank too. Woo.
Dearly beloved.
Wow. So this is crazy. This is crazy. So this is all the influence that you can get in your head while you're trying to conduct and have a successful marriage. Yeah, this is a lot. Yeah, this is a lot. Let me read this super chat. Mrs. Dr. Steele says, as a married woman among a circle of friends, you should be the one giving advice. I agree. I definitely agree. Or you shouldn't be with those women. I find it easy. I guess if someone seeks me out, I would have no problem discussing or answering a question for them if I can. But you do have to be careful about where you go or where you end up, because either you're going to change them or they're going to change you, or influence you, I should say. And you don't want that to happen, because the one thing you don't want to do is find yourself one day going to your husband like, I'm going on a girls trip. You go like, what? You go, what? You did what? So y'all have heard of the girls trips before, but that's just I just wanted to share that with you all. So if there's anybody in the comment section that had a question that wanted to, the link is there. You wanted to call in, go ahead and do so, because we're just guarding against temptation. So family values, what would be one thing you could say to an individual that will give them like a good start on how to guard against temptation?
One, definitely listen to your husband when he brings up your clothing and things of that nature. And I think women find it controlling when it's really him trying to protect you and protect y'all's marriage, because men know that women love attention. We love attention, and he wants to protect you from yourself and from other men. And I think a lot of times women just like, no, this is just abusive. Every other woman, and all this comparison, looking at the world, just like y'all were talking about earlier about the girls on IG, and they get all this attention. And it's like that grass is greener on the other side for us. And we're like, ooh, they got all the attention. I want to do some of that. I want to be like them in a way, just a little bit, just a little bit. And then when your husband lets you know, like, no, that little bit is too much for me, women are getting upset with him and calling him narcissistic and all kind of other horrible labels. So I think your best bet is to talk to your husband, because God blessed our husbands with wisdom. They know how men think. Get some game from him. Understand that your innocent conversation, your innocent dress, or whatever it may be, could lead people on. Sadly, that's just how the world is. And we have to protect ourselves. We can't change everybody else. All we can do is change what we're doing in our actions. So I would just say that, especially if you're under a covering, go to him, talk to him about your friends. How do you feel about her? She just got a divorce, but we've been friends for so many years. What do you think? And go from there. Don't leave him out of these decision making on even your friends.
So let me say something before we go to Martine. Nurse Fancy. Nurse Fancy is recently married. Congratulations. Nurse Fancy, your eyes have been open and your ears have been too. So you've heard me talk, and you here tonight and you're hearing us speak. You look for those things that are not right or that don't sit well with you when you with your girls. If you still continue to want to go to these girl meetings or what have you, you have to monitor yourself. And if something is not right, don't let it slide because you think it's all respectable. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you anything. That's all I'm telling you, I should say. Pay attention. Pay attention, because this stuff gets into your spirit and it's just real. Influence is real. Now, I'm not telling anybody to hate their girlfriends, not talk to their girlfriends, don't send them gifts or anything like that. I'm just saying you have to monitor your positioning, what you hear, and your hangouts. It just can't be the same once you're married. But you have to live and learn this. Pay attention. That's all we ask you to do. Guess what? You got people that's gone through this already, standing here in front of you, telling you exactly what to look for. You good. You just got to pay attention and be honest. And go talk to your husband about the rest of it. Just don't leave him out. Keep the lines open. Because I happen to believe, y'all, any and everything that happens, if the lines of communication are open and you can put a bright light on it, you can fix it. It's that stuff that we do in the dark or that we allow to grow and try to keep hid and sneaky about. Those are the things that ruin us. And those are the things you got to look out for. So MGTOW by Logic. Thank you so much for your $49.99 super chat. He says, Team Rebecca, we up. You get the money line.
Money line, I'ma run it every time.
Give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Money line.
I'ma run it every time.
Give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your super chat, and we appreciate you. Thank you. But I just wanted to tell Nurse Fancy that. And Nurse Fancy, you are welcome to come up here. I would love for you to come up and say hello and just share some things with us if you have anything. But of course, you don't have to. But Rebecca, you were the next one. What is something that you would say to someone about guarding against temptations?
People are not, the ladies are not going to like me.
Uh-oh. I like you already. I like you more. I love
Minimize your social media presence. And and if you can't, make sure your husband's checking. I've talked about this. SB, you talked about this. Jasmine, I think you talked about this as well, right? Don't post the thirst traps. If you're married and you're posting thirst traps, we got a problem. We got a real big problem. Okay?
Huge.
Sorry.
I would go
Red
as far
flags
as-
everywhere.
I would go as far as to say, if you're not running a business on there, make it very limited. Put your family only on there. Family only.
Private.
Oh, okay. Okay, private.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. You don't need to be, if you're not running a business, if you're not doing something that is promoting or is bringing value, right? And your butt is not value. I'm sorry. Your titties ain't value.
Well, wait a minute. Only to your husband.
Oh yeah, to your husband.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying
Make him
like
his
to
own
the
private Instagram account for
yeah,
you, just the two of you. Yeah.
yeah. And that's also what I want to say. It's really interesting because I hear this quite often, right? Women are like, "Well, there's nothing wrong about me posting these types of pictures. They're tasteful, whatever. If no one was watching, you wouldn't post those pictures.
Mhm.
If no one was buying it, you wouldn't be posting it. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Limit your social media presence. Your husband will thank you.
Before we
Dearly
leave
beloved.
that, though, before we leave that thought, Rebecca, because you're just making me think and wonder, why do we desire that so much? See, it goes back to the temptation. What are we lacking in our relationships that make us have to do the thirst trap or make us have to desire that much acknowledgement through Instagram? What is it?
I will
I,
tell you.
I,
Oh, go
Well,
ahead.
that was a good one, huh? Go ahead.
I think it's not even what's lacking. I think it's an overdose of the social media. Social media has changed the
Yes.
world. So we look at it like these women are getting like unlimited attention when we
Mhm.
were supposed to just be getting the attention from our fathers and our husbands right here in this spot. And that's not enough for us anymore because we see women getting, like I said, unlimited attention. So I don't think it always is something lacking at home. It's that mentality that you're comparing yourself to other people and you see that the grass is green. You think the grass is greener on the other side because that kind of attention isn't the actual good attention that you're getting from your husband and your father. Those men want to just use and abuse you and get rid of you.
And I will
So
say, Jasmine, you nailed it. You nailed it. But I will say too, it also, I believe, it also creates that. I think I wouldn't say it's a spark. I don't want to say that that's the word for it, but it triggers your husband to think, oh, if she's putting this out there, and this is what I've talked to women about this. Like, why do you do this? Why do you post these things, right? And it's
Mhm.
like, well, it will trigger my husband's response, good or bad, and that will get me attention back from him.
That's so manipulative.
Exactly.
It's manipulation.
Exactly,
It,
Martine.
it is manipulation, but it's real
It
because
is real for
I was
sure.
getting ready to give pushback to Jasmine over here because Jasmine, I hear what you're saying, but if that was exactly true, then it wouldn't be good enough for all of us, for some of us. You get what I'm saying? Like, for instance, for whatever reason, I learned to live without social media my whole life. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I'm fine. And it is not a reflection on the attention that my husband gives me. You get what I mean by that? So there has to be some sort of something here in the middle that there is, for some reason, they're wanting or needing something or lacking something. Maybe it's not attention. I don't know. I would think it's attention because of the way they're showing themselves, but there's something missing. It could be all within them though. It could be, a little touch of insecurity. Just like
Mhm.
Martine said, we got some manipulation. Why are you manipulating your husband to like you? He's your husband. What are we not getting here? There's something there that needs to be communicated because that's just too much effort. You know what I mean? It's just too much effort. If you got a man that's right beside you every night, laying in the bed with you, why would you have to put so much effort exteriorly to get him to notice you when he's right there beside you? When you could just say, "Hey, I'm right here." So it's something that they're feeding off of. It's got to be some sort of self gratification, of course, I think. But I don't know. We need to talk about that because I want some woman to tell me honestly what it is. Nurse Fancy said that's fake attention. I don't know, but it's something that we as women need and appreciate. Not just women. I'm sure men love the attention too. But we have to have it because y'all see these pictures. Y'all see it. And two, social media. Some women are on social media. No lie, y'all, what, 12, 13 hours a day
Mhm.
responding to everything, and it's
Mhm.
not business related, it's just them. It has their total attention, total attention. So I want to know. I want to have a real conversation and find it out
Uh,
why, you know. But
I think
Go ahead, Martine. Sorry.
I think a lot of it, like security boss, what you were saying, is women actually don't know like what it means to be fully satisfied. And so it's easier to go on your phone because it's like Jazz said, it has changed. Social media has changed the way people think. We have 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds half naked on TikTok every day. And that's because they grew up in a world where social media was, like when sorry, I'm an 80s girl, I'm Gen X. In the 80s, we didn't have these things. We had
mhm,
like
mhm.
playing in the neighborhood outside from dawn till dusk, no phones. But these children and subsequently single women and married women are, the last 15 years especially, wired to being like, this is the way it is. I have an iPhone, and the first thing I do every morning is check my Instagram, my Facebook. I mean, it's just like deeply embedded. And so we have to realize that a lot of this dissatisfaction comes from the fact that culture, just culture unconsciously influences our decisions. I mean,
Yep.
even like now, you go to a wedding planner. She tells you, make a Pinterest board. Show me what you've saved on your Instagram. It's like second nature that this platform and this medium is a part of your life as much as an answering machine was part of life in the 80s, right? So, like, we have to understand that this platform is like, it's insidious. We can say, oh, it's easy to like switch off your phone and to like not be on your phone, but it's like telling people, like, oh, there's a part of like life that, and again, this happens all unconsciously. There's a part of life that you have to switch off, and people can't get with that. They're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what life is without being connected, because they're born into it. And we have adopted it, like as women in our 30s, women in our 40s. And I'm actually, like really, really, um, I'm astounded by the number of women who find it difficult to like function without this technology. Like they really can't, what? Like not have my alarm clock be separate from my phone. I mean, it's things like that. It's like,
Yeah.
but it can be a separate thing. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be like your phone. So it's a lot of people are enslaved to their devices, and I know that sounds like
Absolutely.
a broken record, but
It's
that's
true.
it. That's how culture evolved.
That's
It's as
true.
normal as the answering machine in the 80s to like having your phone right beside you the minute you wake up and the minute you sleep. I mean, this is why husbands and wives are having, sexual dissatisfaction, because they're sitting in bed looking at their phones
Wow.
instead of
That.
making love.
That.
Wow.
And it's like normal. It's like,
It's
but
very,
it's,
you're
yeah,
right. But listen, it's the world has told you exactly how to act. And,
exactly.
I'm going to create my own reality. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I am not falling for what this world is offering. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I am 50. So I have a little bit of both. I'm more Gen X. I am Gen X. I'm sorry. So I've lived a good bit of life without all this virtual world. So I know both sides. I see both sides so I can have a good balance. Or actually, when I see YouTube and I see all these different social medias, it's like work for me. So I'm not enjoying it the way
Same.
that I would
Yeah.
think a younger person. I don't have that enjoyment to it. It's like work for me. So I do what I have to do. But I would love just to have every woman to be independent in her thought process, meaning I don't have to do this, because that always makes me spend money. I mean, I don't know if y'all have that, if it has that effect on everybody, but if I'm there, I'm spending money. And I'm like, I'm sure this is not what other people do, but I'm gonna have to do better. So I have to put it down. I'm like, nah, no, But just to be honest with you guys, I have to watch, even like when I'm looking for content. I hear so many women cursing and going off on their husbands and telling people, just the world, I don't give a crap what you think and all this and all this. I have to be careful because I'm listening to it, and I work with men all day, every day. I have to be careful that I don't allow those thoughts to creep into my head. Because I'm looking at it, trying to find content. I'm not even concentrating on it. It's just so much that every time I'm looking, here we go. Here, another woman complaining about this, another woman complaining about this, another man complaining about that. Just that's how it is. And it's like, wow, I got to be careful. You got to be careful to what you're trying to. And I'm just looking for content. I'm looking for a little bit of something to put on the channel that we can talk about. And I'm like, wow, I got to be careful. I got to be
Women
careful.
have normalized airing their dirty laundry,
Yes.
thinking that it's content,
Mhm.
thinking that it's like, oh, I see this woman, she's talking flack about her husband. I can do that too. And it just creates this chain reaction. And now you have generations of housewives having, hashtag wine mom. I hate that. Like,
Or yes, or the
you know what I mean?
trashy mom, like the mom that's
Right.
always boozed up, like can't take care of her kids. This is a stereotype.
I haven't
This
seen
is
that.
yeah, stay-at-home wives now, stay-at-home moms. This is the quintessential stereotype that you see. It's the mom that's drinking the wine at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Martine, sorry, you just triggered something for me because I see
No, but
this
it's true because
all
it's
the
like
time.
these are moms, and these are stay-at-home moms. They have the choice to put the phone down. But I hear from women who are in these kind of like this category of mom, and it's strange to me that they think they can't put it down. And I've talked to some of their husbands, and she's a good homemaker. She like makes his, like cooks, cleans everything, but she can't put the phone down. And I'm like, you can be all the things. You can put your perfect homesteading life on Instagram if you wanted to, but are you giving everything for your husband? Because if he sees that you have a love affair with your phone and with your
Right.
audience,
Right.
he's gonna look for what he's not getting elsewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, ladies, but like, and this is why I tell women, like, security boss, I relate with you. When I see social media, I think business. That I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just have that relationship with it. But some women, they think social media, friends, substitute friends, affirmation. I'm getting 1,000 likes from all of my friends. And it's a distortion because those are not your friends. Those are people looking into what otherwise is sacred to your family, and you're just like opening it up. And then when that falls apart, you're like, you don't know who you are. Like, where's my identity? Where are all my friends when I have my third baby and I can't keep up with my social media life? Right. And that's very real. Like, I've met women who've fallen apart because they've shared their life there, and it's become like the sacredness of that private life is taken away from them, and they can't get it back. I tell women, once you post something on the interwebs,
It's
it's
been.
forever.
So we
Even if
got a
you
question.
delete that. Yeah.
We got a question here. T-Shaw, thank you so much for your question. She says, what do you ladies think about the new brides doing sexy dances? Oh, with their bridesmaids for the bride's new husband at the wedding reception. Oh, I seen this where they come and they do all the they do Beyonce's dance video over, or they'll do oh God, y'all. Some of them get really, really raunchy. What do I think about it? I think it's awful, but I think it's a telltale sign. But I'm assuming that the husband already knows what's going on prior to this. So I guess it's a non-effect, but I think it's like a red flag. But I've
It's
seen these
absolutely,
sexy dances.
yeah, it's absolutely a red flag. I've seen the videos as well, and at the end of the day, all those situations, I blame the men, because
I
or
think,
Because they
you
sign
are
off on it.
allowing this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now then, I seen one video where where she came in with, I think it was like a corset dress, and he was like, he looked her up and down. He made it clear to everybody in that room, this is not what I thought I was signing up for. And
Ooh.
boy, I was like, now that's what we need to see when these women out here, they're giving their husbands lap dances with lingerie. Why
Yeah.
can't you save that for the honeymoon?
Exactly.
That's
Like,
not for his
Oh.
parents and your parents and kids and all, and uncles and cousins. And
I think that's someone that would sleep with all the boys. I think that somebody would sleep with the best man.
Dearly beloved,
Did I say that? Did y'all?
Yo, I think
Did y'all hear? Did y'all say that? I do. I mean, if you're going to give your husband a lap dance in front of his mama, his daddy, the groomsmen, all these people, what's the secret? What we're hiding? What is it that we won't do? I just think that's
It's like,
I just think that's
what's
saying
left for the wedding night, right? It's like, what's left?
Exactly.
it's how many of y'all want to participate.
I agree. This is an invitation.
Listen, the temptation is right there. She got them all like, but you know what? Hold on for a minute. Let's read this. Cruise season. Hello, how are you? Thank you guys for being here. They say dope conversation. Salute to the panel. Thank you. You get the money line.
Money line, I'ma run it every time.
Give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Money line.
I'ma run it every time.
Give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Yeah, yeah. So listen, guys, I'm just being totally honest with my thoughts. I think if a woman were to salute her husband this way at a wedding reception, to be half naked in front of everyone, then I would think that would not be much that woman would not do. I think that's another way of saying, honey, I'm open, I'm ready. What do you want? That's just my opinion of that.
Red flags everywhere.
Well, he's already married her though.
Annulment.
Well, they probably okay.
Just
I'm gonna
saying.
leave that alone.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that alone.
But this is awful though. This is awful, but y'all, this is a temptation. This is what I just think is we gotta guard our okay. Let me just go back a little bit and say this. I make all efforts to protect my marriage. And I make all efforts. I don't pretend, I don't fake, I don't do any of that when it comes to me being married. I don't allow certain things in. I keep everybody out, a family included. I often even say, like I tell everyone in the beginning of my relationship with my husband, we took about 5 years to build a solid foundation before we would even talk to our family. Because like I told y'all a little bit ago, my sister said to me from the beginning to my husband, he ruined everything. My mom didn't like men. I mean, let me say that. I said that wrong. My mom did like men, but she didn't care for men. My mom was a married woman, but she didn't care for men. So she wasn't going to be that cheerleader for the marriage or anything. So I knew then that we had the world against us. I couldn't tell you why though. I don't know. It's puzzling to me now why so many people are against marriage. I know we go to this laws and money and things of that nature, but I find so much pleasure in being protected and covered in my marriage. It's just hard for me to understand. I mean, I know spiritually what's wrong, but surfacely, I don't know what's the argument. But either way, so when I'm guarding against my marriage or protecting my marriage, I make sure that I keep everybody out of it. I don't discuss my husband, in detail about anything. I don't allow the little creepsters to creep in with the questions like Rebecca said. How do y'all split your money? What do you mean? How do we split it and stuff like, that's weird. So I'm just telling all of you all married women, guard and protect your marriage. Anything that has the appearance of being not right, don't allow it. And one of the things that I failed to mention that we would have talked about a long time ago, y'all, it's the pastor of the church. You know how pastors are just so charismatic and everybody just loves them. That could be a big deal when it comes to temptation for a woman. Women love men who love the Lord and can articulate it in a way. So that's a big one. And if she goes home calling the pastor's name every 5 or 10 minutes, y'all know what kind of problem we got. So that's another one. But again, I don't know if all of you got to answer, but I don't think, Martine, did we hear one from you about what would you tell us how to guard against temptation?
Yeah, so I'm gonna make this my last input because I have to take my daughter to an art class.
Yeah, we've done anyways. We're right.
Yeah. Okay, so I would say guarding against temptation. To add to that, to just always do like a self check-in with your husband. And what is that? It's like checking in with him and allowing him to know like what's honestly on your heart. Like a lot of women, they will just let it slide that, oh, he seems to be ignoring me, but then they don't look at what they're doing. Like maybe I'm not looking at myself, right? So it comes natural for women to want to blame and shame like another woman or another man. And that's especially true if it's your husband. So always do like a self check-in before you speak and say, you're not doing this, you're not seeing me, you're not, delivering. Look at your heart. Like, am I in a state of gratitude and contentment first? Because I tell women, they're like, I can't find anything to be grateful for. I'm like, that's a lie, right? That is a lie from the devil. So self check in. Practice looking at your life and 3 things that you are grateful for. I don't care if it's like the couch. I don't care if it's like I have a house that covers me. She's like, oh, I already was grateful for that. But are you grateful for it today? Have you
That was good.
told your husband, I am grateful that, I'm grateful that every day we get to sleep beside each other. I'm grateful every day. I love your arms, babe. Like, these are the small check-ins that we ignore, but these are what build up a marriage and a relationship over time. So self check-in, like before you speak, find 3 things to be grateful for yourself. Tell your husband 3 things you're grateful for him, and make that a foundation of your marriage, like to look out for the things that you get to be grateful for. Because there is, it's like a, what's that buzzer sound? Wrong answer, that there's nothing that you can't find. Right. I love that.
That's how
I love
Mr.
that.
Boss talk. That's him communicating with us.
I love it. Thank you, Mr.
you.
Boss. So yeah, that would be my input. Yeah.
Okay, so Martine, can you stay to the end of the show because we're getting ready to end now, or do you need to go?
I got like 4 more minutes, so I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, family values. You've told yours already? Rebecca, did you give us your? Yeah, you did. And I think I gave mine too. So, guess what, guys? This is an awesome way to end the show. And I appreciate you guys for being here. Chat, y'all have been lovely as always. But guess what? We're guarding against temptations. Keep these things in mind. Don't think that the smell good won't make you smell harder. But anyway, that was corny, right? I'm Corn Bean, so that's me. That's what I got for y'all. Y'all have a good night. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see y'all soon. Don't forget WifeLife every Thursday night. Look up WifeLife. We'll let you know what panel we'll have on, but y'all got to be there. Y'all got to support this. Thank you. Have a good night.
Sorry if that sounds a bit big, but I am to the core. You want the whole damn thing, then you ask him for more. You want that old jive swing, you take up all of the floor. I'm fine with standing at the edge of the door. You be the life of the party. I blend in with the core. You drink it all to Bacardi. Till the bottles no more. Let's take it back for this started. You want the love, I don't got it. Got my soul on the road. You screaming, stay, please don't go. Don't think it's in me to listen to flow. It's so different with distance we roam into zones where nothing get heard anymore. I just wish I was home when I stepped through front door, but instead I'm alone and completely unsure. And even though you're screaming out with the best of intentions, I don't get it. Why do you always gotta ask me to stay? Why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. Say, why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts they too scared to usher you off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in a daze, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove here away. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Think about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably want to beat my to death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing, cussing. Instead of watching the death of discussions that we once had, days that we once spent in the backseat of our cars reading poets at sunset. It's funny how love can fall out the foreground, get pushed into the back of your mind. We used to twist a spliff and laugh and relax. Now you crying and I'm trying to find the reasons. So I ask, does forever ever happen, or is it always fade to black? I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road. I can't Stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road.